Excuse me?
You gotta do that!
Oh, did we recording again?
It's recording, yeah!
Oh, shit.
This is the YouTube video. Mr. Hello!
Hey babes, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. I am Jay. So today, as you guys can see, is going to be a hair video. I haven't done a hair video in a long time. So today we are going to be removing this old frontal hair, applying a new one, adding some highlights, and then also doing a install for who the wig is for. Okay, so as you can see, we got to go ahead and remove this old busted frontal. Okay, and I'm gonna do everything, fill up the hair and all that. It is crusty. I don't know why I keep showing it to you guys. You guys can clearly see that it is balding in the front. Okay, but it's all good because we're gonna go ahead and fix that. So without further ado, let's just skip the chit chat and get right into it. Okay, so here is the frontal that I will be using, you guys. Look at how nice and long it is. This is a 20-inch frontal, but it's giving me way longer than 20. Okay, it is a HD. I keep saying frontal. Oh my gosh, I meant closure. This is a closure, guys. I'm so used to wearing frontals that I say frontal, but this is a closure, and as you can see, I'm holding up to my face and you can see right through it. Where my fingers are exactly where the closure is ending. And look at it, it's so see-through, it's super nice. Okay, and I know that I would not be showing you guys something that I haven't used myself. The frontal sorry, the closure that I have here, along with the nice thick bundle in my hand. Do you guys see how thick this bundle is? Super thick. Look at the ends of the hair. It is very thick, and I hate scrappy ends or like hair with dead ends on it. Super nice. You guys know that I would not be advertising something that I haven't used myself. So the bundle and the closure that I am showing you guys is from my company that I am in partner with, which is Brolic Bundles, and it will be dropping soon. Okay, so that was one of the things that I was like, oh my god, I got so much planned for you guys. Here's one of the things. All right, I am in partnership with this hair company, and we are going to be dropping very soon, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Do you guys see the quality of the hair as I am shaking it? It is not giving split ends. Okay, I hate when bundles have split ends. It is very thick at the bottom. All the hairs are even, and that's something that I love. So right there, I was just showing you like it doesn't have any split ends on it. I love this bundle. This, I believe, is a 24-inch bundle, and it is thick at the bottom. Like, I love that. You see, straight through. So all right, yes, this bundle is amazing. Okay, so to go ahead and replace the closure, it has to be cut off, of course. So I'm just turning it inside out so that you guys can see where I have to cut along the lines to go ahead and cut it off. So I got my scissors, and I had to be very careful because I thought this was a handmade wig, but it's actually like, you know, like a factory company bought wig. So you have to be very careful when cutting because it's not like a regular sewing machine thread. So I was very careful. I went ahead and removed that old crunchy frontal, and then here is the wig. As you guys can see, it's just like a regular U part, and here I'm just pinning it onto my wig head just to make sure, you know, that I cut even, I didn't miss anything. And you always want to leave a little bit of space like on the actual wig. So if this was a handmade wig, I could show you guys better, but if you guys can see the wig there's a little bit of lace I left there from the closure, and that is to sew the new one on. You always want like a ½ inch of the lace there. So then I'm just taking the closure, and I was just seeing if everything would lay nicely together, you know, like make sure it's all evened out. And then what I did was I took the closure and I pinned it to the wig. As you can see, now you see that there's a little bit of ripple around that area right there, but what you do is that you kind of manipulate it as you go. So what I mean by that is like as I'm sewing it together, I will go ahead and remove the pins, and then you go ahead and you adjust the closure. Okay, you want to make sure that it's nice and flat and that you don't have any ripples in it. Okay, so I did go ahead and I did sew that off of camera because it was very hard for me to show the camera while I was sewing it down, because I did sew this by hand and not with a sewing machine. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how it looked when I went ahead and sewed the closure down. Okay, so the closure is sewed down, as you can see. Okay, and also went ahead and sewed in the bundle because I gotta move on with this video. So now I'm taking my BW2 powder and my 40 developer. So now since I have the closure all sewed down, as you can see the wig head right through the closure. Like I said, very HD. Okay, very see-through. Now it's time to add the highlights into the hair. So I'm just taking some of my BW2 powder and I am putting that into a bowl. And as you guys can see, it is the next day, y'all, because you know when it comes to my hair videos, if you've been here for a while, you know that I cannot hair. It takes me like 2 days to do. So now I'm pouring some 40 developer into the bowl, and I'm going to mix that together. Now if you've never dealt with bleach and developer, the consistency that you want it to be like a toothpaste consistency. You want it to be like toothpaste. You don't want it too watery because you don't want it to go ahead and seep through the frontal closure bundle, whatever you're going ahead and you're bleaching. And then you don't want it too thick because that's going to go ahead and break the hair off very fast. Okay, so to go ahead and start the highlight process, what I'm doing is I am taking some tinfoil and I am just freestyling, guys. What I mean by freestyling is that I'm taking random sections of the hair. Like, you don't want to take too much, but you don't want to take a little bit, and you don't want it to be too neat because you want the highlights to be all over the hair. So I'm just pulling random sections of the hair, you know, parting it with my finger, and I am adding that mixture, that bleach and developer mixture, onto the hair. Okay, make sure that's nice and flat and that it's even because we don't want no chopped up looking bleach highlights. Okay, so I'm making sure that that's even, and then since the hair is really long, I have to go ahead and fold it up on the tinfoil. And then after that, after I'm done adding it to the hair, I'm going to go ahead and just fold up the tinfoil and let that process inside of it. If you have never dealt with bleach and developer, again, you do not want to leave this on for a very long time. Okay, I made a mistake. I left one of these on for quite some time and it started shedding a little bit, but nothing too major. Like I also said, this is very good hair, so it wasn't nothing too major that I couldn't fix. But especially when you go with the high developer like I did, so they have 10, 20, 30, 40. I believe it even goes up to 50 and 60, which I would say, like, let a professional handle that. I wouldn't go no higher than 40. Let a professional handle 50 or 60. But if you want to go ahead and try it, then go ahead. You know, I can't tell you what to do. But yes, I left that on for about 10 minutes. And then you also want to go ahead and keep checking your tinfoil pieces. So you want to go ahead and unravel it and keep checking. Also, you want to move with speed, you guys. When you're doing this, you want to move with speed. The reason why a piece of the hair shed was because you see that first tinfoil piece that I went ahead and wrapped up, I had left it on and I didn't check it, and as I'm moving, I'm going around the whole entire head and I left that on, and that's why what happened. So now I'm going to go ahead and bleach the bundle, and like I said, I'm taking random sections. I'm not like doing it evenly or trying to. I'm taking very random sections so that the highlights can be spread all throughout the hair. Okay, so I'm letting that go ahead and process, and then I'm going to go ahead and wash that out of the hair. And here is the hair after everything is all washed out. So as you guys can see here, that part of the hair is very, very light. You see how white it is? Because like I said, the longer you leave it in there, the higher the highlights will go, the lighter it will go, but also the weaker the hair gets. Okay, so be careful. So I know how to fix that, so I did go ahead and fix that. So what I did was I went ahead and toned the hair off camera. You can do that with a purple shampoo, and you can also do that with a toner, and then it went back to its original honey blonde type of highlights. So right now I'm just plucking the closure, and it's very easy to go ahead and pluck the closure when the closure is wet. Okay, so all I'm doing is taking my tweezers, okay, parting the hair back, and you see that my hand is moving. When you pluck a closure or frontal or whatever, you do not want to stay in one place. That is how people get those bald spots in the front of their frontal, or that's how, like, that separation between their baby hairs and their frontal, that's how they have that big gap, because they stood in one place and they plucked forever. I know that we do not want our wigs looking wiggy. However, we do not want them looking bald. Okay, so I went ahead and I zoomed in for you guys just so you can see what I'm doing. You also want to go ahead and separate the parts. Another reason why people have bald spots in the front of their head is because they only pluck the actual front of the frontal / closure. You have to pluck the front, and then you want to part it and kind of move back a little bit. You don't want to stay in that one section in the front, because I'm telling you, that's how you go bald, and that's how you have all this lace in the front with no hair, because you went ahead and plucked out all the hair. Okay, and there is a way to go ahead and restore the hair, but that is a process. Okay, you just want to go ahead and buy a new one, and we don't want that. We want to go ahead and secure our frontal, so make sure that you are plucking right. Okay, So now moving on to the install process, I'm going to go ahead and take some of my micellar water. You can take micellar water, you can take toner. I no longer use alcohol because I listen to the owner of the hair diagram of Boho products. Oh, by the way, thank you guys. Thank you, Boho, for posting me on your TikTok. I appreciate it. But yes, I listened to her and she says that, you know, alcohol does this and that to the skin and it shouldn't be used. So I no longer use alcohol. I use toner or micellar water, and if I have to use a tad bit of alcohol, I don't know, maybe if the person has oily skin, but I try to avoid as much as possible. So I wipe her forehead with that, and now I'm going in with some gel. You guys know, got to be glue, but it's just gel, okay? And I'm taking an edge brush and I'm just brushing all her edges back because we do not want anything to get caught in this cap process. I see that a lot of people have this problem. They get the edges caught in the cap process, and it's just bad because then your edge is going to rip out, and we don't want that. Like, I see people sometimes say, oh my god, front tooth ate at my edges, but like how did they install it, you know? And if you guys see that white frost across her forehead, I went ahead and I put some skin protectant on. That's another one of Boho's products. It is a skin protectant. It is very good, okay? So I'm telling you, instead of using alcohol, you can go ahead and use some toner and some skin protectant, and that'll protect your skin, and it'll also keep your wig in place, okay? Just try it out. So now I'm taking the cap and I'm going to go ahead and pull that over her ears. I wish she would stop forgetting that her AirPods in her ears, okay? She forgets every time that AirPods in her ears. So I'm gonna go ahead and just stretch the cap and cut a hole so that her ears can go through and her AirPod can go through also, okay? And what that's gonna do, if you're new to installing, what that's gonna do is just help the cap lay flatter so that when you're gluing it down, you know, a lot of times the cap lifts up by the edges by your ear, so when you glue that down, when you cut it, it makes it nice and flat, and then you can glue it down perfectly. Also, if you are new to installing closures, front tools, or just hair period, eyebrow razors are your best friend when it comes to cutting the cap. You know, wherever you're cutting the cap, around your ears, around your forehead, and also cutting off the excess lace is very good using eyebrow razors because it gives it a nice jagged edge and not a straight cut like scissors does. So you might want to try that. Now, using another one of Boho's products, this is the liquid gold that everybody was raving about. I couldn't wait to get my hands on this, and I really do like this product. First of all, this product is strong, okay? Like, it is very strong. It is not as strong as the actual lace glue, however, it is still very strong. Like, if you want a nice wig for a good, I would say 48 hours glued to your head, I would go ahead and use this product. Like, I noticed that even though I don't use it to install the front tools, and I only use it to go ahead and install the cap, and then like I'll put a little bit on after on top of it to really melt it, it still made my front tool last longer than what I did if I was to only use the Boho active glue to go ahead and glue my front tool down. This product is amazing. I use it to go ahead and glue the cap down. What I do is I just put a little bit across the forehead, and as you can see, I'm pushing it back into a hairline because it's also gel. It's a gel like product, okay? And this is also good because another thing, like I said, the owner of Boho explained that using alcohol on the forehead is not good. And so when you guys spray hairspray onto your forehead, such as got to be spray, that contains alcohol. So sometimes, you know, when you see yourself breaking out and stuff like that, and you wonder why you're breaking out, and you might think like it's the front tool that's doing that to you. No, it's all the alcohol that are in these products. These products contain a lot of alcohol, and they're not supposed to be sprayed onto the scalp directly. So Boho, okay, the hair diagram creates products that are alcohol free. All right, so you can go ahead and apply them to the skin. Okay, you have the Boho liquid gold, and then you also have the skin protectant. Okay, so she got us covered. Like, I really shout out to them. I really do adore their products. Like, everything I use is from them. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and sew the cap down. Now, if she had a front tool, I would not be sewing the cap down, but since it's a closure, when I go ahead and I cut the excess cap off, it's gonna like roll up on her head, you know? Like, if you never installed a front tool or closure before, you would know what I was talking about. But if you have, then you know, like, when you cut that cap, it's going to roll up on your head, and that's okay when you have a front tool, but for a closure, it's just a much smaller area. We want it to stay in place, so I got to go ahead and sew that down. And also, we want that cap to be very well blended in, looking like a scalp, okay? So you got to go ahead and you have to apply makeup. Now, usually I do not apply makeup. If you guys know what lace tint is, if you haven't heard of lace tint yet, let me tell you, lace tint is basically It's like spray paint in a can, but for your hair. So it comes in like brown, tan, skin tone colors, and it's meant to spray onto your lace. But in order to save time, you see how I got to keep going back and forth and applying the makeup and doing it over and over again. I just go ahead, I take my lace tint and I'll spray that whole entire cap, and it'll be brown, it'll be perfect. I ran out because I use it so much on myself, so I don't have any more, but that's okay. If you don't have any more, you can use powder, you can use concealer. A lot of people use cream concealer. That's like the best that you can use to go ahead and blend that in and make it look like a scalp. So here's the process that I was talking about, that it will roll up, okay? And as you can see, as I'm cutting it, it's rolling up on her head. And if I didn't go ahead and sew that down, then it will be rolling up completely in the back, and the whole entire process with the cap will be unnecessary because the whole thing would have rolled up. So sewing it down is important, okay? And I'm using scissors to go ahead and cut off all of that excess cap that is on her head. I want it to be as close to the brown part as possible, not reach her hairline. I want it to be a little bit more over her hairline, but I want it to reach as close to the thread and as close to her hairline as possible. So yeah, I'm just continuing to go ahead and cut off all of that leftover cap, and I do this for a while, you guys, because I really like to get as close to the hairline as possible. I like caps to look absolutely melted, and you know what, I don't like to go ahead and like cut people. Like, I want to make sure I'm not cutting anyone. So after a while I would leave it, and what I would do is I would take a little bit of liquid gold or some type of gel, and then you can put that on top of the cap, and it'll go ahead and blend in. So as you can see here, that's what I'm doing with my finger. I'm just taking a little bit of the liquid gold and I'm putting it on my finger, and then I'm going to put more makeup over that, and that's going to help it look melted instead of keep going in and just keep cutting the cap off. So now as you can see here is how the cap looks, okay, on top of her head. It is like the perfect size for a closure. Now what I'm doing a closure, when I'm applying the lace glue, what I do is I like to go ahead and I like to take a white eyeliner. You can take a white eyeliner or like some eyeshadow. I just like to use white because it's easier to clean off. So what I do is I go ahead and I just lay the wig on her head, and I'm gonna see exactly where the closure stops at. So like from end to end on the closure, I'm gonna see exactly where it stops at and how far up I want the glue onto her forehead, so that I know where exactly the wig is gonna lay. Because sometimes when people lay down the frontals, okay, or the closures, they put it too forward or they put too much glue, like ear to ear wise. So making those marks is going to help you a lot, and it's super easy because it's white, so it's super easy to clean off. All you got to do is go ahead and wipe it off like with a Q-tip and some water, some alcohol, a little bit of alcohol, okay? That's not going to hurt if you clean up with a white marks off some alcohol. So this is what I mean by the lace tint, okay? You guys can see that can I just had, it's actually empty, like I said. So I had to go ahead and I had to take some makeup and just put it under the closure, which is the same thing. Lace tint, makeup is a little bit thicker, but I promise you it's okay. Just make sure you don't clump up too much under the frontal or onto the cap. Now moving on to the final steps of installing the hair, I'm going to go ahead and take my Boho Active, which is my go-to glue. Okay, I use this glue on myself. I use this glue on anybody that I'm installing hair on. I love this glue, okay, especially it's getting hot, summertime. Y'all might want to use this glue, okay, because it keeps those frontals in place. So as you guys can see, I am using my marks that I said I was going to use, and I am dotting the glue into place. And I know everybody is so in love with their popsicle sticks, right? Everybody loves that popsicle stick method. Use your little popsicle stick to go ahead and blend out your glue, blah 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 blah. But just know, if you've seen this, just know you've seen it here first, okay? I take some paintbrushes. I buy paintbrushes by the bulk, and I go ahead and I use that to lay my glue down. Why, you might ask? I just find it so much better to manipulate the glue where exactly you want it to be and how flat you want it to be when using a brush. It blends so much better. It gets so much flatter. It's just my opinion. Like when I'm using the popsicle sticks, which I do have, I don't know, I just feel like I gotta keep, I don't know what we was laughing at, y'all. We laugh at everything, but yeah, when I'm using the popsicle sticks, it's just I can't maneuver as good as a brush. The brush is, I could lay whatever I want. I could make the line as thick as I want, as thin as I want. I really do like using the brushes. And what I do is I go ahead and I probably apply, I want to say 3 layers, If I know that this person wants to install for a long time, I'll probably do 4, but 3 layers max. And then if I know they only want it for a day, I'll do like 1 or 2 layers. 1 or 2 layers, they want it for like 48 hours. So it depends on how long you want to keep the wig on. So I'll wait for that to dry clear, or as clear as possible. And yeah, I don't have any special things, okay? I like to go ahead and use my hands. Now I know that some people like to go ahead and cut that extra lace after. Yeah, no, not me. And you don't have to use the method everybody else is using. Like I seen this girl on TikTok and she was explaining how like she didn't like the whole method of cutting the lace after, and I'm like, girl, me too. And I'm like, she was like, I don't know like why I even did it, because it's like we see everybody else doing it, so we feel like that's what we have to do. But do what works for you. This is what works for me. I take my bare hands and I go ahead and I glue the front two size closure down when it is already cut, and that just helped me blend everything so well. And then as you can see here, I take a rat tail comb, okay, and I just melt it down and make sure everything is melted in place. I comb it back with the comb, and then I use the rat tail to go ahead and just press in between the front two slash closure to make sure that everything is melted before I go ahead and add the wrap around the hairline. And this is how the hair look, guys, after I went ahead and, you know, flat ironed it and hot combed it, and I cut the edges off. I know you're probably like, why you didn't show that part? I didn't want this video to be like an hour long. But as you guys can see, here is the final look of the install. And as you guys can know, like, you gotta wait until like you customize the wig, because you see, like, even when I glued it onto her head, I know you probably was like, huh, what the heck? Like, no, you gotta go ahead, you probably gotta pluck a little bit more, you gotta add the baby hairs. You guys can see here that I'm just making sure that it's flat as possible, okay? But yes, this is the install. After you do everything and get everything together, this is the install. You guys can see here it is blended, okay? You can't see anything melted. Hello, it's giving very much scalp. Okay, yeah, look at me. I had to go ahead and show up myself because I did that. I did the highlights, I did everything. It's giving very much scalp. It's nice and flat, okay? These HD closures slash frontals from Brolic Bundles are nothing to play with. You guys know that I will not be showing you anything, and I would not be vouching for it if it was not valid, okay? And I'm going to show you guys another install I did with the same wig on the same person. It is a side part though, okay? We went ahead and she just decided that she wanted side part, so we went ahead and did a side part. Okay, so here is the same wig, different day. You guys see I'm looking fussy right here. Different day, but yes, it's the same wig, and here's a side part. And I also gave her a light B, okay? So if you guys ever want to see me do like a nice light soft B on someone, just let me know and I'll film a tutorial. But I gave her a light B and we put her little wig to the side, and I think it's still looking good. Like, look at the install. This is the second time, same wig. And you guys know, I know some people sometimes they wear their frontal one time and then they throw it out. I don't know what's up with that, but these frontal size closures, you could keep on wearing it, because I sure do, okay? So yes, it looks good, doesn't it? I'm super proud of myself, okay? And I'm gonna I'm gonna let you know when Brolic Bundles is launching. You guys know that you're gonna be first to know, first to buy, and everything else I will always put you guys on. So like I always say, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also hit that notification bell so that you can get notified every single time that I upload, okay? Also, make sure you guys go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Jaiye.Pierre and on TikTok at Jaiye.Pierre_. If for some reason you don't have TikTok or Instagram, I'm going to leave a list right here on the screen of every single social media platform that I have. Make sure you guys go ahead and follow me on each one that you have, and I will check you guys in my next video, okay? Love you guys. Thank you. Bye.